There are multiple theories as to why our community pool in this condo, uh, in this condominium neighborhood, has closed down. Um, the tennis courts and the basketball hoop were closed down, in the volleyball area were all closed down because it was old and dilapidated, and there was a lot of cracks and there was a lot of hazards. So it just looks like a ruin. This place was built in 1983. Yeah, almost as old as I am. I think there's lots of attempts in the 2020s to de-ADify this place, and I kind of like the idea that one condo was built in 1983 and nobody altered it, and no one did any remodeling. I would love to see like just a unit that was unchanged by time, more or less. But somebody's always going to change this shit around and always going to remodel and to modernize it. That's just like there still might be some pristine, maybe wouldn't say totally virgin, but people were probably remodeling as soon as they could, to make it like their own expression. Like maybe even as early as like 1983 itself. So oh, okay, so it's basically like okay, so it's like Yeah, on Twitter X. So it gave me. It said it's 1991, and what album do you want to listen to? And you have four choices. It's like Soundgarden, Bad Motorfinger, and then it's Nirvana, um, Nevermind, and Red Hot Chili Peppers, Blood Sugar Sex Magic, or whatever. Hot Red. I know. I guess it's called Blood Sugar Sex Magic. I like that because it's like the cover has. I like how it says blood, sugar, sex, magic. It's like in a like continuum. I like that. That's who my dad looks like. He looks like Anthony Kiedis, really. That's what every time I see him, I'm like, that's what my actual biological father. My biological father looks like Eric Roberts or like Anthony Kiedis a little bit too. And then it said Pearl Jam 10. And then so I thought, well, probably the best record is Pearl Jam 10. You know, if you're thinking about, you know, just like raw emotional energy, especially, you know. So I'm not saying Nirvana and Soundgarden and Red Hot Chili Peppers aren't good or great even. Yeah, the Harris County Public Health Service shut down the pool. Yeah, and the old 1980s tennis courts are dilapidated, and so I just swam in there, you know, a few weeks back. I like to swim in the pool, so. And it was one of the last remaining amenities that was actually, you know, open to the residents and their guests and families. And but nothing's getting done because no one has any money. You know, it's like they could tear down the old 1980s tennis court and make a fresh one, you know, for the neighborhood and put a few hoops in there for the people to exercise and stuff and, you know, have fun and recreation and all that. And but nobody has any fucking money or whatever. And so like all these people are moving out because they don't have any fucking money, and then nobody can buy a house because no one has any fucking money. So the problem is that nobody has any money. So that's why shit isn't getting done. That's why shit is sucking. You know. So that's a massive problem. If people just had money, then they'd be able to do more stuff. You know, get more shit done. But it's like, no, not in this decade. Better hope for another decade or something. kind of like this chord. No, I never really wanted to D80s this place. I knew I couldn't stay back in time with Back to the Future or Michael J. Fox forever, but I kind of like that like 1980s condo charm, and with the shaggy carpets and all this stuff, and like the 1980s design, for a simpler era. A place where the suburbs were like the escape from the work life, an escape from the city. And it was like beautiful and pleasant and sunny, and there were woods and forests and all kinds of stuff surrounding the suburbs, and it was the good old days, I guess. But all the constants are changing, so Boards of Canada reference there. All the constants are changing. Yeah, Cheech and Chong were selling, society, some mushroom gummies, and I was like, you know what I want to do for my 41st birthday is like trip balls on some mushrooms or something. And then, but then I was thinking like, psilocybin is illegal. Yeah, so I was like, oh shit. They only make compounds that try to emulate and replicate. That's legal, but I don't really trust synthetic compounds. Like they try to make fake weed and it got people sick. I think nature makes stuff. The chemistry, nature makes drugs the way they're supposed to be. In the natural state before drug companies and drug cartels and fucking pharmaceutical companies can get a hold of it and manipulate it. So, I think God made things as they were intended to be, and man fucked it up. That's basically the story. Isn't that like every single religion? It's like the world was good and then mankind fucked it up. It's pretty much like everything. Every religion almost. The world was beautiful until man brought evil and the downfall. I think if an adult wants to smoke weed or trip on some SID, trip on some mushrooms or something, I think somebody should be able to do that, They're gonna fucking do it anyway. Because the person knows they only live once, and so they're gonna say, no, I think I might try some mushrooms, some psilocybin or whatever, and I want to trip, go on a introspective neurological voyage, you know? I want to go on like a mushroom or, well, I don't want to do acid again, really. That was fucked up. I don't really want to do that again. I only did that because I went to a Millennium Party, you know, like Iron Man 3. And I was just like, fuck it. 2,000 years doesn't come every day. So it was like, and then cue the acid dealer. And I was like, it was like Neo in the Matrix, where he takes the red pill and it goes into the Matrix. And there's fucking like liquid everywhere. I was like, too many fucking special effects and shit. my favorite was it looking in the mirror and there was like infinite dimensions. Was that my favorite part, or was it the part like no when I looked at the bathroom tile and the solid was turning the states of matter were changing? That was probably the best part when the floor became an ocean. I'd say like the Neo, like the Matrix part was like the scariest probably. I was like, going into another dimension. Yeah, so probably never acid ever again. Mushrooms, I haven't done, so I was kind of curious about it. I don't know how many auditory or hallucinatory visual effects that it'll have, you know. I'm not sure. My friend did he do mushrooms or did he do acid and no, he was really tripping. Yeah, he was seeing the alphabet on the movie theater walls. I said, I don't know if actually, I'm not even a big druggie. Like, I more like an alcoholic, leaning towards that. So, but I would never go tripping at work, especially like. It's bad enough having a boss that's like, you know, especially if you're a teenager or a young person, it's bad enough having like a middle-aged, angry fucking boss that hates teenagers and hates people with, you know, young possibilities. Because, you know, I guess like a middle-aged a guy like in his late 30s, 40s is like, oh man, my life is kind of over. You know, every decision I made is kind of locked. And there's hardly any escape route. But maybe that's why maybe some middle-aged guys they just don't like, you know, dealing with teenagers and people in their early 20s because they feel like, you know, they wish it's some kind of like envy, you know, some kind of strange envy, like to envy the youth. That's my theory anyway. Could be wrong. They call that in psychological terms. They call that projection. You know, when you bring your problems and you project it on other people. Yeah. Or other people. Misery loves company, and they want you to feel their problems. When everybody has different problems in reality. So, well. On a personal level, I'm talking about like there are also collective problems, unfortunately as well. So it wasn't the brain eating flesh, the brain eating worm that's going around Texas water supplies. It's mostly like freshwater ones where you swim, and then if the brain eating worm goes through the water, it goes through your nose or something, and then it crawls up to your brain, and then it fucking eats it, and you die. It's probably not that, because that's a chlorine, pool. It's not a freshwater source. So, all right, there was no lights in the pool. They broke or something. They could have said that was a hazard. The Harris County Department of Health. Maybe there was too much fecal matter, too much piss. I don't know. Something's bad about it. Either maybe there was an electrical wiring problem. It is old. Maybe they're afraid that it was going to electrocute the swimmers. Electrocute us. Oh, so we could speculate on what it is, why they closed it down. We had some tenants come in here, and it was kind of weird. We had some owners. They came in here, renters and owners, and they started to kind of control the pool and wanted to control the pool. So we had some retirees come in here from out of town, out of state, and when they bought a place, they were trying to take over the pool, which is kind of strange because everybody just kind of used the pool. It was fun, kind of shared it. You never had people trying to control the area, control the space before. That's something that's new in the neighborhood, really. So the pool used to have a key. It used to be locked. And it used to be exclusive for us residents, like our exclusive community pool. And then somebody, the numbnuts from another state that moved next door in the condo, they decided to keep it open 24/7. It used to be closed at 10 and it would open at 10 a.m. every single day for years and years and years. That's how it was. And you needed a special key. And you're part of the club, if you're part of the condo club. It's the community pool. So you're a resident, or now it's everybody and their dog's uncle circus show can go in there. So it really sucks. We never had people fighting over pool time. We've never had people trying to control the pool and we've really never had that in this condos, since 1983. Well, I can't vouch for what happened in 1983 to 1995 because I only lived here from 1995 on and off to now. So that's going to be 30-year anniversary. My parents bought this place. So in June, I think, yeah. So I was 15 when we moved in here. And this coming May, I'm going to be 45. So 30 years. Goes by in the blink of an eye. So it's bizarre that you have people just trying to control the pool and trying to manipulate the pool. Typically, it was just, okay, the homeowners association board, they would deal with that and all the stuff, the budget to clean the pool and maintain it and everything. And then we saw the Harris County public health sign on it, and they closed it down. They put these big old fucking locks on it. And now they have fucking locks on the tennis court and the basketball. And now they have locks on the fucking pool. Now there's no amenities in here. You can just walk around. Whoop this shit. Oh, I guess, okay, they have the landscaping. Yeah. Okay. And Memorial Day weekend's coming up, and the pool is going to be closed down for God knows, what happened. typhoid, fucking STD, AIDS, or whatever got in there. You know, blood, pathogens. Who knows what the fuck happened? You know, what it is. I don't know. If it's electrical. But I want to go swimming sometimes because it's relaxing and it's hot. You know, in Texas, hot and humid, sticky, swampy. I like to go take a few exercise swims and dust off the old aquatic moves. Reminisce about the good old days or whatever. Reminisce about the electric times, I guess. But now we don't have a shit. So the old ladies can't go have their gossip time. And the neighborhood gossips, the gossip grandmas, can't get together and have their little gossipies things. I guess they could meet at their house, or I don't know. They tend to act like hens, kind of wandering around the pen. They like to wander around and kind of conglomerate. They like choosing a spot, but they don't really like, you know, like an old lady doesn't really like a whole bunch of different ladies in her house, like having, you know, like a tea time or some shit like that. Like sitting, I mean, maybe they do. I just don't see it. But they really like to get out and squawk, you know, in the neighborhood and go, you know, like the hen house. Women kind of tend to like that, I guess. So, what did, it was Benedict Cumberbatch. Sherlock BBC, he says, he's like, old ladies are better than any security camera. Yeah, because they're always watching everybody else, looking for gossip and looking for juicy things to talk about. Like they're desperate housewives. They want to make their lives exciting and spicy. They don't like boredom, you know. They like something to talk about. They don't like the slow march of mortal death, you know, coming upon them day after day, month after month, year after year. They like, you know, the juiciness. So the gossip ladies can't get together, you know, the board people, the association people can't get together, the fucking management, you know, they can't conglomerate in the pool area, they can't lay out, can't go swimming, can't even go take a shit, can't go take a piss. And then the pool man, he can't get in there and clean the pool. And so he drives up. So he drives up, I'm grilling a burger, right? A turkey burger, I think. And he drives up, see the pool truck, and I'm like, oh, the pool guy, maybe he can get in. But it's like, you know, the city, so he can't get in because they locked it up tight. They put a sign on it and everything. So he's like, he sees the sign and like all the locks. He's like, fuck! And he's like some young guy, you know, like 26 or something. He's like, and he just drives off all pissed. And then I saw the saddest sight today. It was like, it had been known to me that the teenagers in the area, whether it was middle school or high school, had been using, there's not the steely woods anymore, as Bob Seger would say. You know, I mean, there are woods, there are nature places and nature preserves in the United States. But, you know, they used to have them like in the big cities, like in the old suburbs. They would have big forests to, you know, go do stuff in. And didn't always have to be nefarious. But, you know, just someplace to hide. You know, they used to have woods in the country where you could go hide somewhere and have a private time. And not always for bad shit, but usually teenagers would use it to go smoke or to go drink or go, you know, smoke weed and get away from their parents and stuff like that. So I saw the poor fat kid who was in middle school or high school, maybe like a freshman or something. I saw the kid, like, he had his big black backpack and he was overweight, had the shaggy hair and shit. And he goes up to the pool and he's like, he can't go in there and smoke a fag, he can't go in there and blow bowls with his buddies because it's fucking locked. And I was like, oh, that's the saddest thing I've ever seen. There's no woods for him to go smoke pot, and there's no fucking. Maybe he just had to take a dump. Maybe he just had to take a piss, but it was probably to hide from the parents. I'm guessing. Hide from his mom and daddy. That he's gonna spark up some bud. Well, I hope the pool opens up, you know, and I hope one day they build a new tennis court or something. Yeah, so we could have some recreational amenities back to this condominium complex. I would like the amenities to return. Or is just everything going to go into a downward spiral of shit or something? Is that just going to be the future? The future of welfare, ghetto, dilapidation, and downward spiral? Is that what it's going to be? The race to the bottom. I hope not, but we'll see. I would be surprised if the Harris County Health kept the pool closed past, you know, Memorial Day weekend. Not that Harris County Health has anything to gain, or the people, the management that run this neighborhood, the housing association, or the management company. You know, it's not like they really stand to profit from. It's not like the Jaws Beach, you know, in Martha's Vineyard, where they really stand to lose revenue if it's not open on, you know, July 4th weekend or Memorial Day weekend. I mean, I had thought people were moving out of this neighborhood because it was costing more and then offering less. And then, you know, I had kind of a bad thought that I was like, well, is there more like Mexicans and like black people moving in here? So are like white people moving out? Or yeah, you know, I thought about that for a while too. Like, I thought about that. But then I was like, don't think that way. You know, that could be what it is, but there's been a lot of single moms moving in here, you know, with like 3 kids, or you know, so there's been a lot of that shit. But you know, that's the symptom of society, is this you know, like single mom welfare state kind of shit. Dads don't stick around and raise their kids, and divorce culture, all that. What is like half of all American marriages end in divorce, or something like that. Fathers that don't stick around, divorces. Maybe people not even getting married in the first place. You know, that's probably another thing. I know kind of what it is too. It's like, you know, in Texas, it is a state. If you marry a woman, she can take half your shit if you have shit. You know, I doubt men even have shit these days, right? Not much. Not like they used to. And I know why a lot of the women are you know, getting knocked up a lot, because they're like, well, if I keep having kids, then I'll get more welfare from the state. And yeah, it's Texas is a state where, yeah, woman automatically gets half your shit. So it's like, that's why, you know what? I know the conservatives, they always lecture single guys. You know, like, oh, well, you have no future, you have no incentive because you don't have a woman and you're not married with children. But I will say that being single is most of the time lots and lots of fun. And then you have the women that just are like, I don't need a man, and and they're like, I'm an independent woman. I don't need a man, but I need him just to make. I just need him to drop the sperm in the hole, and so she's gonna have her kids. It's like, oh, I had my kids, so now I don't need the father around, or I had my 2 kids. I don't need the fucking father around. Fuck the father, and so that shit's going on too, unfortunately. But oh, I don't need the guy who planted the seed into my vagina to raise the children and have any, like, that's his. Oh, okay, so men are just used to, like, what, like, pay the bills, or like reach a can and the real tall in the pantry or something, or help fix the car, some shit. But men can't even raise their own children anymore. That's just pathetic. That's sad. Like, society just wants to use men like, worker, like the colony, like the queen treats like the bee collective or something. And when one worker drone dies, then they just replace it with the next one to keep the machine going. Yeah, I love Neil Young and his music, and Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, and but yeah, I don't know why a lot of the liberal elite, the leftists, they're like Democrats Party supporters, their old senility, like Neil Young. He's like, fuck, I'm gonna get deported by Trump because I'm part Canadian and all this bullshit. Well, fucking go back to Canada then. If you want to leave the country, go to England, go to Ireland, or whatever. Go join Rosie O'Donnell and Ellen DeGeneres, and struggle with your lawn machine or whatever. Life is hard in the countryside of the UK. I thought your life would be easy since you're a multimillionaire. You have hundreds of millions of dollars. I thought your life would just be like lickety banana split easy. What do you want to do? Well, whatever we want. We're rich. That'd just be like a fun time. Well, maybe I'm wrong. well leave the United States? Well, don't let the door hit you on your ass on the way out, I guess. That's the old saying goes. Are you really going to do better than the United States? I know a lot of people leave the United States and they go to Europe and they act like fucking douchebags and they act like snobs, but is it really better over there? Do you have more liberties? Do you have more freedoms? Do you have more opportunities? Answer usually is no. USA, USA, all the way. America, fuck yeah. So the question on Twitter X was, what's the on May 8th, 1970, I guess it says, or did it say 1969? It said Let It Be was released, and it said, what is your favorite song off Let It Be? And I was like, I like the nice song that's like it almost seems like, I know the Beatles broke up apparently because the genius songwriters, Sir Paul McCartney and John Lennon were getting bored of each other, or John Lennon was getting bored of the band, and Paul trying to be the guy running the show. There's some friction there, for sure, and but I always thought that song, Just the Two of Us, was about them, about their friendship. It was like kind of a sweet song. So I always liked that one. Of course, I love Across the Universe and Let It Be, and my mom's favorite song is The Long and Winding Road. And yeah, I love that song too. It's really brilliant. The Long and Winding Road. Yeah, it's an amazing one. But I like the simplicity of the acoustic guitar, like the just the two of us writing letters. Oh, it's really good. So, just the two of us. Da 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 da. I mean, all across the universe is a fucking masterpiece, really. Yeah, honestly. Sweet home America, where the skies are so blue. American man don't need Neil Young around anyhow. Sweet Home Alabama. You just change it to Sweet Home America. as a tribute. Yeah, I guess I didn't listen to, I didn't buy a lot of Pearl Jam records at first because I thought it was a bit too, I guess, preachy, or like there was a lot of social justice commentary going on in the Pearl Jam music. But I should have listened to more, I think, because it was really good in the early days. And I think most people back then were captivated by Nirvana because it was basically insane music. The lead singer Kurt Cobain was obviously battling lots of demons internally inside himself, and obviously he's mentally disturbed. That's why the music was so wow. This is really fresh, you know, because the guy's fucking crazy. That's why he has manic depression really bad. Horrible case of it. Yeah. That's why the music was so interesting, right? Because like Kurt Cobain had bipolar disorder. I mean, the music's brilliant, but like, you know, I think in a way, Nirvana's kind of overrated. You know, I want to say. Oh, my favorite of the grunge era bands are probably, I want to say, yeah, it's like Soundgarden, Alice in Chains. I just love Alice in Chains. I think they're fucking brilliant. Yeah. Since there was no Beatles, because John Lennon was shot and they broke up, you know, in 1970 or whatever it was, and so I think bands were trying to fill that void, and I think in the '80s the void, the Beatles void, was filled by the Irish rock band U2, and you know, like I guess Fleetwood Mac was filling the void of the Beatles not being there anymore. And I think the Rolling Stones, you know, were like the the sleazier version of the Beatles, like the Beatles cousins, and the dirtier version of the Beatles from England. But there was a band called NXS from Australia that was also filling that Beatles void, and so to get quality like rock pop and it's tea tonight. I'm a teetotaler tonight. Mm. Plus, hangovers after 40 are. Whoo! I know a lot of people said they quit drinking because they want to live a long time, but there's really those hangs. Man, after a certain age, it's like, oh shit. Yeah. Yeah, I was still trying to cope with sexual abuse allegations uh, of Smokey Robinson. So that was a hard thing to cope with. Cause like nobody, he hasn't been charged, so it's just allegations at this point. So it's like it could just be digging a. It's like I noticed they go after really old men, and I noticed they go after. I can't say they just go after black men, but they go after old guys. They're like 80 years old. They go after guys who are weak and on their way out. I noticed that's who gets picked on the most. I notice by these lawsuits, by these Me Too movement deals. They always pick. They're going to be rich guys. They're usually in the music industry, which like the music industry is infamous for its sexual liaisons, and one night stands and encounters and stuff like that. Random encounters with females. The sports world also, so any kind of public, a very public deal. Any kind of public field dealing with humanity and society. Yeah. Do I believe that Smokey Robinson was, keeping sex slaves and going full Diddy and all that? I don't really. I mean, if he's convicted, he's convicted, right? So the trials will tell the tale. So if he just pays the women some money or something, it says, okay, you got a good nest, so have a nice life. Yeah, but Smokey Robinson might also just get purely exonerated as well. So he's not going to go down, and probably serve jail time like Diddy's going to go to jail for. Well, Diddy's kind of a strange situation because, he might know a lot about the Epstein client list and all those stars that went to those Diddy parties over the years, whether it's Leonardo DiCaprio, Mike Myers. I mean, whoever came. I mean, he was the Diddy, was the side man with Biggie Smalls, the gigantic, what's his name? Is it Sean Carter, the major fucking rapper? So Diddy was kind of big for a time, so he was meeting all the Hollywood stars and throwing these elaborate, crazy parties, and so yeah, there's a lot of shit that's gonna come to hit the fan. Now, a lot of people think he's going to get killed like Epstein because he knows something about Bill Clinton or something. So, don't they have a video where it's like Diddy and Obama or something? There's all this shit. It's very interesting. So, a lot of people think that Diddy's going to be killed before he goes to trial because he knows too much about powerful and wealthy and elite people and all that. Like he knows all their secrets or something. So, we'll see. Yeah, that would be like one of the most fascinating trials in history. Diddy. Yeah. Sean Puffy Combs. I won't be missing you. Just straight up like ripped off. Well, I guess Sting got the royalties for that, for I'll Be Watching You. After Biggie Smalls died, Sean Carter, he did a song that was "I'll Be Missing You," and it was like the exact same music of the Police and Sting. I'll be watching you. Oh man, it was from 1983's Synchronicity 2. Synchronicity album. I'll be watching you. when I was a kid and I was hearing that song, I thought he said when it was when he goes, "When my poor heart aches." For some reason, I thought he said, "The pool heart aches," like he's playing pool, like billiards. But you know, when I got older, I realized that didn't make any sense. That's what I thought I was hearing at first when I was a kid. That he was like in a billiards, like playing pool or something, like pool heart aches. But that doesn't make any fucking sense. That's what I thought though that he was saying. Gordon Sumner, otherwise known as Sting. Oh yeah, the police were kind of they're filling that no Beatles void in that post punk new wave, yeah, and reggae too. Yeah, I think the police broke up too quickly. Their 5 albums are basically like kind of, I'd say, masterpieces, really. And man, I wish they would have had a few more albums, but oh. They should have went out on 7. Just they should have made police. I guess the police would have fizzled out. I guess they would have burned out. Maybe. Yeah. Got sick of each other or something. I don't. One group from the post punk era that really crashed and burned was, went out in a mediocre way was the Cars, which they were like huge hit makers. You know, they're like a massive band from like the late 70s. And then they made this like crappy album in 1987. It was like the death knell of their career. It was called Door to Door. I don't know. As a Cars fan, I was, I think I was personally upset because they made a mediocre album. Like I was like personally offended as a fan. Beach House. Yeah. All right. There was no amplifiers tonight, so because it's late. Oh yeah. The Trappist system. Got a lot of nice planets. Yeah. God bless.